Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow work travelers. Obelix here, back with you today from MC Eternal. How in the heck is everybody doing up in here today? So guys, last time we made that metal press right behind our head, and behind our flowery head right there. Pretty cool immersive engineering. Now I've done a little bit of work around the base, as you can see. All the machines that were up in here are now over there. So we've taken our coke oven, our smelter and furnace and all that stuff and just shoved them over there in the corner. We got all of our animals right in here. We shoved them over there. Oh, by the way, we knocked out this entire wall that was right here and shoved it back and made this new whole section back here to give us a lot more room to work today. Now today, guys, we're going to be working on Botania. We're going to be setting up a garden up in here. And I've already started doing a little bit of work over in the corner. We'll get to that here in just a second. I do want to show you, notice our canola fields are all gone. They are underground because I wanted the garden up here seem a little more realistic. So, well, it's a blocky base game, could be anyway. So, if you remember down here, I did go ahead and set us up an elevator, just like we have for our mines. And we still got our same old generator set up. But if we go down again, you will see here's all our canola. Just moved it down here, gave it plenty of light. It's growing like a champ. Moved our farmers down here. They're working a treat, not a problem. And I went ahead and made one more lower level and a few more water mills and set those up down here as well. So just to get them out of the way, we're going to need them anyway. So they're here, they're out of the way, and decent looking little room for them. Pretty cool. Get them. You remember we had that one just kind of sit over here by the chickens. So, I want to show you real quick how you can make nether work without having to go to the nether. If you are terrified of the hellscape, you can simply take a red mushroom, because we're going to need nether work today. Simply take a red mushroom and toss it in front of the Zapificator 9000, hit the button, Zapificate, and you get nether wart. One will do you. So I started one and just kept spreading them out as I was working out here. Now I've got 3 and we got a whole handful of nether wart. It's great. So today, like I said, we're going to start working on doing a little work on Botania. This is just kind of my little storage crate of all the extra goodness. We're going to be getting to that for too long. You'll notice I have one of each flower planted down. Now you will need one of every flower in existence for Botania. There are 16 of the mystical flowers that grow out natively in the world. I highly recommend you build you one of these little guys right here called a flower pouch. Now this guy is super cheap. Let's see, pouch. It's just some wool and some string, or wool and a petal. Doesn't matter what color, makes no difference to it. To make a petal, you're going to take any one flower. Don't make no difference which one you choose. You're going to take that flower, you're going to pop it into your inventory, and you're going to get 2 petals off of it, and that is awesome. You will see I've been doing that, collecting all the petals. Then you want to take some of this here bone meal. You want to place your flowers out. Again, you're looking for 16. Oh, let me show you how the pouch works real quick. I'm getting ahead of myself. Dang it. Slow down, Obelix. Slow down. So, if you look inside this pouch, there are slots. There's one slot for every single flower color there is. If I were to take these black flowers out, toss them on the ground, you can see it shows a 0, but it still shows you what that flower looks like. So when you're wandering around the world, you at least know what you're looking for. Cool little handy thing. When you run over the flower, and after you punched it in the world, pick it up, you notice it is no longer in my inventory. It has been sucked up into the bag, which is super duper handy. I've got it right here ready to rock. And it will tell you basically which flowers you're missing, because inevitably if you don't use this little pouch, you come back and say you're missing cyan flowers is the one you forgot. And you get back and you're like, why do I only have 15 flowers? Dang it, Bobby, and you got to go back out and hunting for the cyan. And first you got to figure out that you're missing the cyan. then you got to figure out that, you know, I got to go find the cyan. Big pain in the butt. So just bring you the pouch. It's super cheap. You'll know exactly what you got and what you don't. Just don't die with it. That's the sucky part. You will notice if I'm holding it down here in my hotbar, it does not necessarily pick up the flowers. Occasionally it will, but most of the time it won't. If you just move it up here out of your hotbar and then run over them, you'll notice it does pick them up. So just remember that. And keep that in your forefront brain place. So we will toss this down here with the flowers. We got tons of them. Now, we want to take this here bone meal. We want to plant one of every color flower, just like I got down here. And before you do anything to them, bap them with some bone meal. Turn them into the two highs, just like this. Ain't they beautiful sight? Notice they keep their basic same pattern. You know, a flower is just taller. So we're going to go do that to everyone, all 16 of these little suckers. Make two highs everywhere. Keep an eye out for their hitbox. Sometimes they don't line up just where you think they should. Alright, so now that we've done all that, we want to get more petals. Now the way we do that is we take some shears here. You can see I've been using these. They're pretty beat up. So we're going to take these shears right here. We're going to hit our left click, not the right click. Right click breaks the flower forever. You go crying. Hit your left click. You're going to shear that flower, and you notice you collect a tall, mystical white flower. Don't punch it with your hand. You punch it with your hand, it breaks forever, and you will again cry. Probably not, but anyway. Take this two tall. You're going to toss it in your crafting grid or your inventory, and you notice this time you're going to get 4 petals. So 4 petals for the 2 tall. Remember, the 1 tall only gives us 2 petals, hence why we want the 4. Now we can take one of these petals. We can plant it into the ground. You get the sparkly sparkles. We're going to take a piece of bone meal. We're going to hit the sparkly sparkles. You get your 2 tall flower back again. So that will leave you with a net gain of 3 petals for each one of these you do that to. Do it a lot, and you get a whole bunch of petals like this that you can use. Went ahead and did 5 each on each of these, plus a few extras that I had laying around. And that's going to get us going in Botania. That's kind of your first thing to do, your first start here. And I like to keep everything nice and sorted. It just makes my life easy. This is your important one here. You will need some seeds as well. So now the very first thing we want to make is, let's see if I can remember what the heck it's called. This guy right here, Petal Apothecary. So we can either use mushrooms we find down in caves, or we can use petals. We're going to need some stone, cobblestone of the cobble variety. So let's go ahead and get that. We have cobble in here. Yes, we do. I even remember the slabs. Look at me go. That's probably too many, but that's fine. That's fine. We need to go get a petal. Doesn't matter what color. And whenever you see a large number of petals, or you see the petal flipping colors, it doesn't care what color you use. So we're going to come over here. We're going to... Where'd the Petal Apothecary go? Why am I always blind when I try to look for it? And there's so many of them, and I just can't find it no more. It drives me to bonkers. Here they are. Boom. So we're just going to toss that down like so, and we get a Petal Apothecary. Basically a big tub that we can put some water in. So let me get my water bucket. This is why I have this infinite water source sitting right here, because you're going to put a little bit of water up top, just like so. Now we can use this to make functional flowers, or generating flowers. So these are just world flowers, and then you have functional flowers, which do things, very specific things. And then you have generating flowers, which generate power, or the equivalent, what this mod equates to power. Now, Botania is a tech mod. A lot of people think it's a magic mod. It is not. It is a tech mod, just like Mechanism or Ender.io or any of the other tech mods. It just looks a little bit differently. So, we're going to make our first functional flowers. I'm going to take 8 of these white petals. And I'm going to take 2 seeds like so. And I'm going to put 4 petals into the petal apothecary. And I'm just going to cue them in there. So I'm going to just toss them. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see them spinning around down there. Now if I mouse over the petal apothecary, you see I've got this little icon right dead in the center of my screen. You notice right around the crosshairs, I've got 4 white petals, which is what I threw into the apothecary. Then there's a little green checkbox arrow or a little green, check mark arrow that's basically saying, yes, you have everything you need to make a pure daisy, which is that white flower off to the right. But it says I need plus seed, so I am going to need some seed, hence why I got that. So we're going to cue that in there, and you will see that now we've got a pure daisy. Bingo, bango, bongo. Now these are very cool little flowers. They do lots of nifty little things. Very handy. I'm going to put one right here. Basically, I want to leave 8 slots around it. And I want to skip a space, and I want to leave 8 slots around. I need to make another one because I didn't put all the bits and bobs in there. I'm going to have to get some more water, toss it in the petal apothecary. We will automate this later. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's get our seed again. We will need that. Boom. We got another pure daisy. Perfect. Let's go ahead and plop this guy down. Like to skip a space. So it'll go right there. 8 blocks around it as well. Yeah, we skipped the torch. Perfect. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get a little bit of stone. I'm going to get 8 pieces of stone. See where I'm going here? Can you figure it out? We left 8 spaces. I'm grabbing 8 pieces of stone. What do you think? I'm going to grab 8 logs. Does not matter the variety. Any of the vanilla ones will work just fine. Some of the modded ones will work, but not all of the modded ones. Now, it doesn't care if you place them stumped down like this or you place them stumped on the side like so. Makes no difference. You notice I placed them all the way around this pure daisy. The 8 blocks around it, and they're all getting the sparkly sparkles. Now that's what you want to see. So I'm going to do the same thing with this stone. Place it around the pure daisy, like it so. And you notice it now gets the sparkly sparkles as well. And what that pure daisy does is it turns one thing into another thing. So it's going to take this stone and turn it into living stone. It's going to take this wood and turn it into living wood. And that's going to be super handy for us down the road. So I'm actually going to craft up some of this. And I'll bring you back when we have quite a bit. Actually, I'll hold on till we get this first little transition. You can see it. It's actually kind of cool. We shouldn't be too far away. There we go, starting to change. It'll change in the order you placed it down and with the speed you placed it down. There we go. This is all living wood now. We'll give it just a minute and we're going to get the living rock. And there we go. We're starting to get the living rock. Perfect. So we've turned stone into living rock, logs into living wood. Dig them out just like you would expect. Wood is wood. You need an axe, or in my case, a mattock. And stone, of course, is going to be a pickaxe. Perfect. And I'm just going to take some more and some more, and I'm going to just keep making, because we're going to need a little bit of this to get going here. Okay, I've made a few rounds of it. Now I want to show you some other things you can do with pure daisies. I have gone ahead and crafted up another one. And what I want to do is take some of these living rock. And for those that don't know, this is one of my absolute favorite textures in the game. Absolutely love living rock. We're going to do this and this. And let's see here. Boom, and a bam, and a boom. Boom. Oh, I need another set. Dang it. For those that remember my Project Ozone Light series, not the Project Ozone 3 series I have going on now, but the old school Project Ozone Light series, Skyblock, super cool. Did a whole lot of episodes on that. 200 if I'm plus 200 if I remember right. I did my entire base, the bottom of my base out of this, and it looked super cool. Love it, love it, love it. Now I need me some wood planks. I have some. Perfecto. Give me 4 of those. Awesome sauce. And we need some water. Now, one thing this here Pure Daisy can do is convert flowing water into snow. But there is an issue. If I take a flower and just say plant it there and I put flowing water say here, well obviously it breaks the flower just like you expect water to do, right? So we need something to stop that from happening. And the way we're going to stop that is with these here boom boom pressure plates. So I'm going to put a little bit of flowing water there. I'm going to put boop, a little bit of flowing water up there. And I'm going to put this here Pure Daisy right here. As soon as I do, you see we get the white sparkles. How cool is that? So what's going to happen, and we got a lag spike, what's going to happen is these flowing water bits here on the end are going to turn into snow. So if you do not live in a cold biome, but you need some snow, there you go. Pure Daisy's your critter. So let me go ahead and break this one. You can break them and move them if you need to move the flowers. I'm gonna do a U on it. I'm just gonna hit the U key and we're gonna see what we can build with it. Click on that Pure Daisy key. You can see stone to living rock. You know, any of the vanilla Minecraft woods will go turn into living wood. We can do netherrack into cobblestone, soul sand into sand, ice into packed ice, blaze mesh, which is a bunch of blaze rods, to obsidian or water. Now it does have to be flowing to snow. And I just heard it, it actually just finished. If we look over here, boom, there's our snow. So if I just come over here and break it with a shovel, because I'm a moron, there we go. We got the snowballs. And you see it started crafting again. Now we can automate this in the future as well. Also, Project Ozone 3, or Project Ozone Light, sorry, I did show you how you can automate this. I think I also showed it in FTB Revelations, how to automate the creation of those. Very, very handy. So, we'll get to that eventually here in this pack, but it may be a little while. So we got some snow, perfect. Won't need any more of that. Now, we need to... like I said, this is a tech mod. Obviously, it's a tech mod. You can tell that because it's converting one thing into another thing. That's a tech-based thing. A little slightly magic, but we're going to generate the power that this mod uses. And the power it uses is called mana. You need generating flowers to generate mana. Now, the one we're going to start with is kind of the one everybody starts with. And that is called an Exo Flame. So this guy right here. So we need, in our petal apothecary, a brown petal, another brown petal, a red petal, and a light gray petal. So we need 2 browns, and this is where being colorblind is a little bit challenging. 2 browns, a red, especially on these immersive engineering crates. I love these things because you can break them and carry them with you, but man, that dark color sure does make it a little difficult to see things. But they just look good, so it's form over function in this case. Though the function's pretty good too, so we're gonna toss those in. Boom, got them all, and we're gonna take our seed. Now again, if I mouse over this, you can see it's got the 2 browns, the red, and the gray around the center. We got our green check mark again, and it's showing the Exo Flame flower there. We toss in the seed. Boom, we got an Exo Flame. Now this guy, we can just pop down right there, and he'll be fine. So now this Exo Flame will generate mana for us, or generate power. And now, it can't do it yet because it needs somewhere to put that power. You know, just like immersive engineering uses wires, and thermodynamics uses flux ducts. We need some way to move the power in Botania. To do that, we're going to use spreaders. A device called a spreader. Now we need living wood, like so. We're going to need a petal of any color we want. I typically tend to like to use black as my disposable color because not a lot of recipes require black. There are some, but not a whole lot, so I tend to use that as the disposable color. And I forgot we are going to need a little bit of gold, so let's bring that with us. And we just need one ingot for now, and here we go, a mana spreader. Perfect. I'm going to just stash that gold away in there for future use. We're going to pop that mana spreader down. It doesn't matter how you pop it down. We're going to adjust this in a minute. Now, this is our power transmitter. This is our power generator. We need somewhere to put that power. And in Botania, we want to make the equivalent of a Botania battery, which is this mana pool. I'm just going to place it right here. Now, it doesn't have to be right there, but I'll show you in a minute. We're about to make another device, and I can show you some more about this spreader here in a minute, but just for this purpose, I want to put that battery right there. Now, we need a tool, much like in all the other tech mods. You need a wrench or a hammer. Immersive engineering uses a hammer, Ender IO. Extra utilities too, those use wrenches. Thermodynamics uses a wrench. We need to make the Botania equivalent of a wrench. So we're going to need some more living wood, and we need to make 3 of these twigs. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. And we need 2 petals of any color we want. Now the color makes 0 difference, but it will show up on we're going to make a wand, which is like I said, the equivalent of a wrench. The color will show up, so use colors that you like. So I'm just going to put blue because that is my color. And there we go. Perfect. So you are going to use this thing a lot in Botania. Keep it with you. It is super handy. Now, you will notice when I'm holding my wand, I get additional information out of the spreader that I don't get when I'm not holding the wand. Right now I get nothing because I'm not holding the wand. I don't get the little green light shooting off in the distance. Hold the wand, get more info, see the green light shooting across. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this mana pool or battery real quick. I'm going to hold my wand, and we're going to see that this spreader out of that hole right there is shooting green energy that way. It's not really, it's just a representation, a virtual representation of what it's going to do in the future. So if this guy were to generate power, this guy would shoot it that direction, and it would shoot it this far before it started losing power. Now see, at this point it starts to lose power, and you can see that little green beam stays pretty thick, and then all the way through here it's nice and thick. But when I come on this side, you're going to see as soon as it hits that, it starts getting faded really fast. So if you try to shoot it this far, way out here, you're actually going to be losing power. The power is going to be degrading. So if you wanted to shoot it even further, you would need another mana spreader right here. And mana spreader to mana spreader and keep on shooting. Or you could put a mana pool right here with another spreader in the middle to act as kind of a bit of a buffer. Because these guys do come in different levels. There's 3 different tiers. Each tier can send more power in one burst. Each of these pulses of that energy is called a burst, a mana burst. And the higher tier of the spreader, the more energy or mana it can shoot in that burst. So now we want to bind our generating flower to our spreader. The way we're going to do that, if I look at the generating flower, you can see it says its name, Exo Flame. Right under that, it has unknown status. If I right click it, that goes away. What that's showing you, that little white bar, is how much mana or power is stored in the flower right now. Right now there's none because we haven't fed the flower yet. We'll get to that in a minute. If you look off to the right, just to the side, you see a little spreader with a red X over it. That says it is not currently bound to a spreader, therefore it cannot do its job. So we want to bind it. I'm going to shift and right click on the flower. You will see that the hitbox turned into a glowing color rainbow. That tells you that is the selected item. I want to now point at the spreader I want to use and right click it with a shift click. You saw a little green flash between the two, and now if I mouse over the flower, you see that this spreader is the rainbow color frame around it. And that's telling you that this flower is now bound to this spreader. And you can see it now has a little green checkbox on it saying, hey, I'm ready to work. We want to do the same thing with mana pool. If we look at the spreader, we want to shift click it. We want to point it at the mana pool. Shift click the mana pool. You see it tilts down and flashes directly into the mana pool saying, hey, that's where I'm going to send my power. Now we want to feed the flower. You can feed the flower with anything that you can burn in a furnace. Could we use a sapling? Well, it's furnace fuel, right? Yes, you can. Now, is it going to generate a lot of mana? No. You see that flower's already out of power, and basically nothing showed up in here. Very, very tiny amount of mana because it's not a great fuel source. I did forget to grab my coal. I generally like to feed it coal blocks. You can use just regular coal if you want, but coal blocks work the best. Blaze rods are another good one if you have a good source of blaze rods. So I'm just going to toss it a coal block. Because remember, it bases how it works off of that burn time calculation. See right there where it says burn time 16,000 ticks? Well, if we look at that sampling, it's 100 ticks. So this is going to burn for 16,000 ticks. And you can already see it's starting to fill up that battery with that mana, that glowing juice down there. So the flower's generating, sending it to the spreader shooting it in those pulses into this battery. Perfect. Now, the next thing we need to do is, let's see, we got snow, we got living rock, we got living wood, we got generating flowers. I'm actually going to move these up just a little bit, I think. I will lose all the mana when I do this that we've already generated. So I should have thought about that before I did it. But what I want to do is we're going to need some more generating flowers than that. Now I will show you. I want to face the spreader here. You can see if I hold the mouse or the one, it is pointing at that wall. It doesn't matter because I can shift click it into the pool, and it points to the pool. We're fine. And there's perfectly fine to have a gap between the spreader and this guy as well. We can shift click him into the spreader. He's now perfectly fine, and the mana is flowing again. There's a radius around this spreader that this guy can be. I don't remember how far exactly away. It's like 3 or 4 blocks, something like that. But I want to create several more of these Exo Flames. I'm gonna want about 6 or so to get us going. So I'm gonna work on those here in a minute. Actually, let me take a break. I'm gonna work on these real quick, get those 6 other ones set up. And then we will move on to the next part, because I'm going to need quite a bit of mana to do what I want to do next. So let me get those other 5 ones in, and I'll bring you back. Alright, this will be our last Exo Flame. There we go. I'll go ahead and just refill that up while I'm here. And I'm just going to pop these guys around like so. Now if I had placed these down and then the mana spreader, they would have bound automatically. Or I'm sorry, yeah, with the mana spreader down first, they will bind already. So you see these guys all have the green checkbox. You can see they're all bound to the mana spreader. It's if you go the other way. Flowers, then mana spreader, they won't automatically bind. So, but be careful, because if you have more than one mana spreader, they may bind to the wrong one. You want to go verify they're bound to the one you want. Now we need a piece of fuel for each Exo Flame, so I've got 1 burning right now. As long as you see the flames coming up out of the top, it is working. So I need 5 more of these coals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can just toss them all down in the middle. The flowers will sort it out amongst themselves who gets what. So you'll see them all light up. So they're all generating mana. If we right click on the spreader, we can see I've got a little bit of a green sliver down there toward the left of how much mana is inside the spreader right now as those flowers are generating mana. And the spreader, if I right click on the flowers, you can see the spreader is keeping up with delivering all that mana to the pool. The flowers are not getting backed up. You don't want your flowers getting backed up because they are not very efficient that way. So we're getting almost a steady stream of mana pouring into our mana pool, which is great. You know, those pulses are nice and big and healthy. Big and chunky pulses is what you want. So now we need to make what's called a Runic Altar. Just this little table right here. And we're going to need either a mana diamond or a mana pearl and some living rock. So we got the living rock right here, like it so. And we're going to need a diamond. I think I've got more diamonds. I'm sure I've got more diamonds than I do pearls. So we're going to need quite a few of these down the road. So let's just start with 6 for now. We need a lot more than that. Now to make a mana diamond, you take a regular diamond. If I hold it in my hand, as I look down at this pool, you can see right in the center it says if you toss a diamond in, you will get a mana diamond out with a nice big checkbox. So if we toss one in, we get one out, and we see that it is in fact a mana diamond. You can toss in the whole lot, assuming you have the amount of mana you need, which I do not. It would have converted all of them. I'm just short on mana right now. I can let that sit there until it gets enough mana to convert, and then it'll convert for us. Be careful because it will despawn. There's only one set of things that you can put in this pool, and it will absorb mana but not despawn, and we will talk about that way later. Super cool pickaxe and things of that nature. But I've got what I need to make this, so we're gonna pop one in here like it does so. I think we will toss the diamonds there and the mana diamonds down here. And there's our Runic Altar. Perfect. And where's a good spot to stick it? Maybe right there. Now we're going to need a spreader pointing into this because this requires mana to work. So we're going to need like so. And we're going to need, remember, any old petal will do. I do like to use the blacks because as the sacrificial one, because it's just not used in a whole lot of crafting recipes. So we'll put the black petals in there. There we go. We get a spreader. Toss that down like so. I'm going to hold shift. Get it to light up with the wireframe, multicolor wireframe. I'm going to point at the Runic Altar and right click. We see our line pointing into it. Now no mana is actually transferring into there until it needs it. Once the altar needs it, it will draw from the mana pool to fill it. I can see one of our flowers is in need of a refill, so we will get that going. We want to keep these guys cranking because I want to get this pool filled up. I'm going to need a whole bunch of mana by the end of the day. Now a Runic Altar lets you make runes. Runes are just used in crafting recipes. Rooney? No, not Mickey Rooney. We just want runes. So, first rune we're going to make is a water rune. To make a water rune on a Runic Altar, you need to place mana powder, mana steel, bone meal, sugarcane, and a fishing rod. Yeah, don't ask me where they came up with these recipes, man. I just work here. So we're going to need that. We're going to need... See, did I remember to get everything? Maybe. We're going to need one of those, one more of those. We're going to need 2 of those. Yeah, like I said, some of these are a little bit squirrely recipes. Just, you know, deal with it. Alright, now these you're going to want to hold in your hand because it works a little different than the Petal Apothecary. These you're going to right click on the Runic Altar with each item, and it doesn't matter what order you stick them in. Don't worry about that. Just as you get the material, drop them in. So there's our sugarcane, there's our bone meal, there is our fishing rod, and you'll see them floating around the table, which I think looks really cool. But you get this cool little whatever that is. Now I'm gonna have to go get some iron. So we'll grab some of that and some gunpowder. Boom, a little bit of that. As much like we made mana diamonds, guess how we make mana steel? If you said, drop an iron ingot into a mana pool, you are a smart cookie. If you said to make mana powder, you drop some gunpowder into a mana pool, you are equally a smart cookie. So we're going to take that mana steel, we're going to put it onto the Runic Altar, we're going to take that mana powder and do the same. Once you have a full recipe, you will see it just like with all the other ones, right there in the center, and off to the right you see that water rune, and it is being crafted. You see the green filling up over the top of that water rune. Once the green has completely circled all the way around, it's kind of moving like clock hands. Once it's circled all the way around that rune, the rune is finished. And you're going to see some lightning bolts, which look really cool. Now you see the mana is moving from the spreader into the Runic Altar. If you do not have enough mana, it will pause. You won't lose the work you've done. You just need more go-go juice. You can see we've got 5 flowers here, not doing any work, being lazy bums. So we need to put them back to work, get them employed like so. And make it a mana. There we go. You get this awesome lightning effect once the Runic Altar is finished crafting. I do like that a lot. We're going to take our wand. We're going to come up and... Oh, wait, hold on. Before we do that, slow down, Obelix. Get it right. Come on now. We need to take a living rock. A single living rock. We're not going to right-click on the altar. We're just going to toss it on top of the altar, like so. See it just sitting there, floating above the altar. Not right-click, just thrown on top of. Now I'm going to go whack the side of the Runic Altar with my wand. Any side, doesn't matter. Then you're going to get your runes. Now because they were just sitting on top of the altar, they got sucked into the altar, which is why they're floating around it. Anything that goes into your altar by accident, like sometimes you'll accidentally put your weapon or your shovel or whatever into the altar, and that's not what you want to be doing. Oops. Why did, oh, these must have not been done? Oh, okay. Or did I throw too much down? I don't know. Anyway, if you put stuff on your altar you don't intend to, shift and right click and you will pull things back out. Do you need an empty hand to do it? Let's check it with that. Yeah, you do need an empty hand. So I want 2 runes, boom, boom. Got them pulled back out, no problemo. So we'll toss those in here, like so. So now we've made the water rune, we need to just move on, and we need to make as many of these as we can. You're going to use them. Crafting them sucks because you got to sit here and just keep shoving things into here. We can automate this later, but you are going to have to just, you know, keep gathering resources, dumping them in the table, get some more resources, dump them in the table, get some more resources, dump them in the table. And some of them are obscure resources like a fishing rod. So I recommend just building all the ones you can build right off the bat. You know, I usually make a run through all of them to start with, so I have a nice little crafting base here. Because again, these guys are used in crafting recipes. Some things to note. When you craft these early ones, the water, fire, earth, and air, you notice you get 2 runes. As you get into the more advanced runes, like the spring, summer, autumn, and winter, you notice you need 2 runes as part of the crafting recipe for the rune of spring, or summer, or winter, or whatever. And you only get 1 out, but you will get the original runes back. So you're going to put in the Rune of Fire, you're going to put in the Rune of Water, plus this additional stuff to get your Rune of Spring. you're going to get the Rune of Spring, the Rune of Fire, and the Rune of Water back out of the Runic Altar once it's finished crafting. That's kind of nice. But when you use runes in crafting recipes over here in your crafting grid, you do not get them back. They are permanently gone forever. So just know, you use them here as a crafting item, you'll get them back. Use them here as a crafting item, you do not get them back. The higher up this tree you go, the more complex the recipes become. You see it takes the 2 runes plus 2 mana diamonds. It gets a little expensive. All these high tier use mana diamonds, as you can see as I'm clicking on them. But these are your greed, your gluttony, basically your 7 deadly sins. So we're gonna start crafting on these. Let's go ahead and do one more together. We're gonna need for Rune of Fire, netherwork, gunpowder, and nether brick. Did I save any gunpowder? Oh, okay, yeah. Whew. Lucky. So there's gunpowder. And you see why I was growing netherwort for the Rune of Fire. And we need, what was it, a nether brick? Yeah, I don't think I brought any netherrack over here, but we know we have some, because we harvested that in the last episode. I need to cook this into brick form. Now there's a way you can do this in Botania. We will get to that here shortly. For now, I'm just gonna toss them in here. But we definitely want to do that, make it a thing. Where we can sit out here and, without using coal and stuff, use our little furnace and make magic happen. So let's toss that in there. I usually like to make 2 of all these low-end runes, and then 1 of each of the high-end runes, because like I said, they get a little pricey with the diamonds and whatnot. Pretty much everything wants a mana steel and a mana powder as part of its, at least these early ones are all using that as part of their recipe. So you can just make several of that off the get-go and you'll be okay. So we can see there's all the ingredients, and we got the little green clock filling up over the top of the fire rune. We get the mana squirting in, we just give it a hot minute and it will be done. Looks like that guy is finished up and is in need of another piece of coal. So we want to keep all these guys producificating. There we go. Okay, we get the lightning bolts. We are done. We'll right click on the altar. I do. Oh, I'm forgetting myself. We need our living rock. That is required. So we toss that down. We get our 1. We wrap it. We get the 2 fire runes. Super cool. And then we move into earth, which is mushrooms and coal blocks and stone. We're going to move into air, which is carpet, feathers, and string. So, of all things. So I'm going to make up a bunch of runes of a bunch of different flavors, and I'll bring you back and we can move on to the next thing. Alright, next up I want to show you another way of generating mana beyond just constantly throwing coal down on a bunch of flowers over here. That does get a little pricey after a while. We all have extra coal, usually at the early game. Coal's one of those things that's easy to find, but you keep feeding these little suckers, you are going to run out. So another way to generate mana that I don't see used very often, but I like it, so is called a Munch Dew. Now the Munch Dew is made with a Rune of Gluttony. Oh, by the way, we did make all the runes. I did forget to say that. Here we go. Got a whole bunch of runes crafted up, and we are going to need a Rune of Gluttony, so let's go in here and find that sucker. It's toward the front. There it is. So we'll get that. I try to make a whole bunch of these. I make a little less of these, and I make a lot less of these, because these are the ones that take them diamonds, and they do get pricey. And it did take me a hot minute. What I like to do is try to craft up enough that I'll never have to craft them again until we can get this automated. And then from that point on, I don't care. Yeah, whew, they are a pain in the buttocks to do them manually. Oh, we already had water in there. So we're going to go ahead and pop our Rune of Gluttony in. And we needed, all flowers are made in the apothecary. So we're going to need some lime. So we need 2 lime, 2 red, and a green. So we need 2 lime. Okay. 2 red. And a green. And of course we always need a seed. So we belly up to the bar. 2 lime. 2 red. Green. Check our recipe. We see the picture of the Munch Dew. It just needs the seed. We belly up to the bar. Give it the seed. There's our Munch Dew in our hand. In a hot little hand. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to plant it right there. Then we're going to need another spreader because the Munch Dew produces power. I think it will overwhelm this spreader with these guys. When these guys are fully running, I think it will overwhelm that spreader. So I want to make sure it has its own, so it won't be an issue. So we're going to need some living wood. We're going to need a stick of gold. And we're going to need a petal. In our crafting recipe. Perfecto. Boom and a bam. A boom and a bam. Perfect. And I'm just going to pop him right there. Take our wand. Make sure the Munch Dew is bound to the right one. Notice it did bind to that spreader over there, which is not what I want. So I'm going to shift, right click it, highlight it. Shift, right click the spreader. Yep, when we mouse back over it, we see this correct spreader highlighted. Now we see that this spreader is shooting into that spreader. It's going right over the top of that mana pool. We don't want that, so we're going to shift, right click the spreader, shift, right click the mana pool, and it is now going to be shooting into the pool as well. Now the way Munch Dews work is they munch a dew. Now they will eat leaves from trees, which is very cool. I'm going to take me a little bit of bone meal and a sapling. Place the tree down. It doesn't have to be exactly beside it, but this is just easy. I'm going to grow it, and the Munch Dew is going to go to work. And it is going to eat all those saplings and generate some mana from it. You see it now shooting into the pool from right there, which is very nice and very handy. Now it doesn't generate a ridiculous amount of mana, it's just a little bit. I mean, it's not a lame amount of mana, or I wouldn't waste my time, but it could definitely be better. But it could definitely be a lot worse too. But you also get the byproduct of oak wood, which you can throw in a furnace and get charcoal, which you can use to feed these guys. So it's kind of this magic round robin of circle of life. So let's go ahead and make us another spreader. That's entirely too many of those. Get us a little bit of gold. And nope. Yep. There we go. We're gonna zorp and zorp. Boom and a bam. We got us another spreader. I'm just going to pop down right here because I want to make another functional flower. We talked about getting this guy to work without us having to do anything. Remember, I want to be able to put these in here and turn them into charcoal. To do that, we need another functional flower. And this guy is called the Exo Flame, much like the Endo Flame. Endo Flame is inside, burns inside. Exo Flame is outside, burns outside. So we want the Exo Flame. What do you want to bet it uses the fire rune? Haha, yes it does. So we need a summer rune, a fire rune, 2 reds, a gray, and a light gray. So we need summer and a fire. So there's our fire rune. Summer is there. So we're going to use up a summer rune. We need to put some water in there. like that. So we're going to get our 2 reds. See, we're burning through these red ones. And it was a light gray, I believe, was one. And I can't remember the other one. Just gray. Okay. I had a feeling that was what it was, but I didn't want to be wrong. So we're going to go in here. We're going to toss that rune in, those 2 petals in, that petal in, that petal in. And we didn't get a seed. But we mouse over, we see it does produce what we expect it to produce, which is great. And we're just going to cue that in and get our Exo Flame. Now I'm just going to pop this down right beside the furnace like so. And as long as he has mana, he will burn our furnace. So I'm going to shift right click that spreader and shift right click that guy. He's actually doesn't need the spreader. He's close enough. I thought he was going to be too far away from that mana pool, so I can go ahead and break this. But functional flowers will draw from mana pools. If I mouse over him, you see he is attached to that mana pool over there. It's going to be really hard for me to get to where you could see the highlight of that mana pool. But it is, yeah, you can just barely see it in the corner right there. You can see it right there below the mini-map. Yeah, it is lit up to that mana pool right there. So, and you can see it did turn, in fact, that wood into charcoal. So, excellent. And now we have an extra spreader we can use later. Perfect. Because we will need more of those. Let's go ahead and get another tree planted for our Mr. Munch Dew. Now, you don't have to bone meal them. You can just let them grow naturally. I just like to watch them work. Do his little thing. And there are many other ways to generate mana in this pack. These are just 2 of the ways. Oops. Totally got the wrong thing there. That's our canola power generator. And you saw some of those flowers did, in fact, eat some of our wood. So that's a thing. It fell close enough to them. They were like, hey, food. I will take food. But that won't burn terribly long. Yeah, you can see he's already out of the power. So, dang it! I threw way too much. Why do I keep doing that? All I want is that one right there. There we go. It didn't really matter if you threw too much. It'll just sit there on the ground and rot. But you know, if you don't want to risk it rotting on you and disappearing, you probably... Oh, the other 5 are ready. Yep, there we go. Get those going. Get a little bone meal. Get our Munch Dew going. Boom. My Munch Dew is still... Yeah, it was still full from the last time. And there it goes. Eating away. Love it. So it's filled up that spreader. See, and there's a little reserve left over in the Munch Dew. I told you it would overflow a spreader if we try to connect it to that one. So each Munch Dew pretty much needs its own spreader, at least of this tier. But I don't know. I kind of like it. And like I said, as a byproduct, you can just drop these over here, toss them up here. This guy is powering this furnace, and it actually makes it cook quicker. So not only does it provide power for the fuel for the furnace, it causes the furnace to actually gives it a speed upgrade, if you will. So we can take these guys, and I just take them and zorp them like so. And now we got a charcoal block that when we're ready to feed these guys again, I can toss it on here, and it's got the same 16,000 burn rate as coal. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, if you will. You just gotta remember to replant the tree, which I always forget. So now one thing we are gonna need to build is the Lexica Botania, which is the book for Botania. It comes in 2 flavors, the first and second tier. We're gonna start with the first tier. It's just a book and a tree sapling. Pull that out, and we get the Lexica Botania. This is the first tier. It only displays part of the stuff. The second tier later, once we get the Elven Gateway, we'll be able to get more stuff. Alright, the last thing I want to do in this episode is create the way to make Terrestrial, which is the top tier steel in this game. We created Mana Steel already, but I want to make Terrestrial. We need what's called a Terrestrial Agglomeration Plate, this little guy right here. It's going to require some lapis and a block of Mana Steel along with some runes. So Mana Steel is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To get a block, we just need Mana Steel. Remember, that's just iron tossed in a mana pool. And there we go. We got our block. And we're going to need some lapis. Okay, we're going to need those 5 in a minute anyway. And then we're going to need a few of these as well. So we know that lapis goes on the top. We know that goes there. And then we just need a bunch of runes. So we need water, earth, mana, air, and fire. So we should just be able to click those in. Terrestrial Agglomeration Plate. Now, this guy needs to be placed on a very specific surface, in a very specific pattern of surface. So dig you out a 3x3 hole, like that so. Hello, extra hole, all the extra hole. We don't need you anymore, you can be covered. And let's put that torch back right there. And now the agglomeration plate goes here in the center, but it goes on top of, I think, I can never remember which one is which. I can't remember if the lapis goes on the inside or the outside. You basically want to make a checkerboard. And it's like this. I can never remember if the lapis goes in the center or if it goes, if the living rock goes in the center. But I think it's this. We'll see. If it don't work, then we know why. So we pop the agglomeration plate right there. And this should allow us to make a Terrestrial ingot if I have the bottom pieces correct. If not, we'll just flip them around and all will be right with the world. So to do that, we need to get power from here. Hello, tree. People grow in the face fast. I love watching that. I just really, really do love watching that. I don't know why. It's something just satisfying about it. I wish these things would burn, but they don't. Let's get you down so I can replant another one, because I'm going to need a whole boatload of mana. To make a piece of Terrestrial requires almost... It's a huge amount of a mana pool. I think it's like half, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've made one. So don't quote me if I'm wrong and be all like, you know, get over it, it's fine, it'll be fine. But I think it's about half a mana pool. So we want those cooking. Now the way to transfer mana from here to here, we could use a spreader, but that's very slow. We got to transfer a lot of mana and transfer it fast. I heard weird noises. Anyway. To transfer a lot of mana fast, we're going to use what are called sparks. These little doomaflickies are right here. Here, a witch. We're going to need blaze powder, gold nuggies, and some more red petals. And does one get you 2? Nope, one gets you 1. That sucks. Didn't it used to get you... I'm pretty sure it used to get you more than 1. But I think we have... See, we don't have any leftover blaze powder, but we did pick up some more cinders when we went and explored the desert somewhere. There they are. So we're going to need 4 of those guys. More cinder pearls to give us more blaze powder. And then we're going to need gold nuggets, which we have out there, and some any color petals. So nuggies, we'll just take one of these, turn it into a nuggie fountain. There we go. And let's just stick with these and let's get 4. Perfect. sparks. And give me 2. So we're going to place 1 on top of this here mana pool. Now, not everything can use sparks, but the agglomeration plate is one thing that can, and we're just going to right click on top of the agglomeration plate for the second spark. And they've turned the detail down on these a lot. They used to be really super cool looking, and I guess they were maybe generating some lag, so they've made them not super cool looking. Kind of plain and simple. Boring. Give me the cool ones back. So we got our spark. Now, Terrestrial. Is this green metal right here? It is a little weird to make. And this doesn't do it any justice at all. So, take all this, throw it in the dumpster, and completely ignore it. Because that's not how you make Terrestrial. We're going to go to our Lexica Botania, which is going to give us the right answer. So, we need to take, once the plate is set up, ready to receive mana, tossing a single mana steel ingot, mana diamond, and mana pearl, all 3. On top of it will begin the infusion. Picking up any items will halt the infusion, causing severe mana loss. In other words, once this starts, do not pick them up. And I was right, about half a mana pool. Look at me go. So, kind of show you this here in a second. So we're going to need one of these. We're going to need one of these. And was it pearl or powder? Could we use, I think it was pearl, wasn't it? Pearl. Okay. Dang it. I've got powder. I wish it was powder. We've got powder right there. I gotta go in here to get an ender pearl. So an ender pearl will get you a mana pearl. Hopefully I have some ender pearls. Oh, we're running a little low on ender pearls. I'm gonna have to go hunt ender dudes and rob them of their balls. So there we go. Take that, drop that in there. We're gonna get that mana pearl. Now, the way you're gonna do this, again, you don't want to do anything until you're sure you have half a pool, because it says it's gonna take half a pool, and I don't yet. So doing it now would be stupid, because it's gonna shove all the mana it has in here fairly rapidly, and then it's gonna wait while these produce more mana. In the time it's waiting, remember, whenever you throw an item down on the ground in Minecraft, you start a timer. Once that timer expires, this item will disappear. If it disappears while you're waiting for mana to be generated, all the mana you've already pumped into it goes away forever, like it never existed. So make sure that little line is above the halfway, that blue line there is above the halfway point before you even consider starting. I would personally get it a little higher than that, because like I said, you don't want these items just, sitting there on top of the plate and they end up despawning. The other thing is, let's assume this is a plate, right? When we toss these items down, it's going to start the ingestion of mana, sucking the mana over. If you're over here, oh, that's so super cool, and you just get a little bit too close and suck those items back up, you have stopped the process. If you have a magnet of any kind, an Actually Additions magnet or a Botania magnet or any of the other magnets in the game, and you get too close and your magnet sucks things off, and some magnets can suck things off from like this far away, guess what? Your transfer stops, and any mana you transferred is gone forever. So if you're early, late game, not a big deal. Early game, you're struggling for mana, big deal. So be very cautious of that. Now I'm going to wait for this to fill up, and then we're going to go ahead and convert us some Terrestrial. Okay, I spent a little bit of time and let this pool get all the way to the top because, yeah, I just don't want to screw this up and waste all that mana. Fortunately, I am wasting the coal because these guys are producing mana and there's nowhere for it to go. well. So again, once you start the process, you don't want to suck anything up. You want to get away quick. And you want to toss them right on this plate. Hopefully I got my color pattern down right. That is not on the plate, though might be close enough. Probably isn't. So toss that, and that, and that, and I want to back up. I'm either A, not close enough, or B, the color pattern is wrong. So let's try tossing them again. Yep, got the color pattern wrong. So I need to fix that. So we're just going to rip all this up. So it's going to be the white bits in the middle and the lapis around the outside. Boom. And the agglomeration plate. Boom. See, this is lapis, and I just think lapis should be sitting on top of lapis. Is probably why I think it should be the way it is. The way it isn't. I guess is the better way to put that. So we toss these on there. And nothing. Why you vex me, game? Why you vex me? Oh! Our spark broke. Duh! When I broke the agglomeration plate, the spark that was bound to it popped off, and it was in my inventory, and I just didn't even notice it. Okay. Fair enough. Fine game. Fine. Are those close enough? Nope. That one diamond is too low. Get it on there. There we go. Now we're getting some mana transfer. You see the sparks transferring the mana. It transfers it super rapidly. You see the blue things flipping around. They're going to go out and in, pulse out and in a couple times. They're turning green. Now when they pulse in, we're going to get one more time. Get that nice deep green. It's going to pulse in, and we're going to get the Terrestrial. Boom. Terrestrial. Dun da da da. We are amazing. And you can see it did use almost, well, it used exactly half a mana pool. So do not start unless you have enough. Now we will use this guy to make some cool new things in the next episode. So do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me as we get started on one of my favorite mods, Botania. You can see I got a flower above it coming out of my brain place. That is a Botania Flower because I am a patron supporter of Vasky, who is the mod dev for Botania. Love it. He is working on 1.16, by the way. It will be out for too much longer. They are doing some final testing. Oh, weird. You can see the inside of the spreader from this view. When the Munch Dew is working, you can see the inside of the spreader. Interesting. Anyway, sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. Until next time, y'all get out there, make some noise. See ya.